Tesla, Apple, SMCI, Coinbase, and many more setups on this market right now that is just absolutely defying gravity. When will it end? I think soon, but we're not going to fight price action. We're not going to argue with the market, and we will play whatever comes. Now, I'm back. Are you happy I'm back? I took a little hiatus. My son was born on Thanksgiving. He may or may not end up hating that in the future, but I think it's great when he asks, why is everyone here? It's for you, bud, for sure. Let's go ahead and hop right into the plays.
I was down, but now I'm up. Yeah, this all God, this ain't no lie. Yeah.
Tesla is an absolute monster that wants to go much higher, and I do want to add, for the long-term holders who are with me on this, I think this is going to go a lot higher. So Tesla is probably going to break 400, probably break the all-time highs, just from the price action that we're seeing and the strength that we're seeing. I mean, the daily was starting to roll over, then reversed here. Obviously, we are overbought on the RSI, but this thing can go much higher. Okay, so I'm expecting all-time highs for Tesla. It then could have a retracement, but I will not sell into that. I've already taken the profits that I want to take from my share position, and I'd probably buy dips from here, as I think Tesla could end up being the next $2 trillion company. So, this thing going to 600, 800 in the coming years would be absolutely no surprise to me. It will continue to be my number one position. I'm just too excited about all the things they're doing. And for those unaware, it has very little to do with EVs. So, nothing to do, but mostly Optimus Robot is what I'm so excited for. So anyways, in the short term, what you're looking for is you just want to see over the pre-market highs. Yeah, I'd be cautious because about 60% of the time Tesla will give you this little give and then go. All right. Friday, this was a great play. I should probably also clarify that I already have very large Tesla position that I bought. This was on Friday. I've been getting chopped up a little bit for short-term plays on this stock just because it is so volatile, and they love to eat the premiums up in the morning and then launch them later, which can make like your short-term, if you're going for like those short-term plays or you're going for like an intraday scalp, you can really get beaten up on that. So I just went ahead, I bought with large size and with time to just capture the full move. Now, there's probably going to be a setup over the pre-market highs for also some short-term plays that can give a greater percentage returns. So I would keep an eye out for that. I probably will play both the short-term and keep this long-term position up. I'm already up at the close on Friday. I was up about 40%. If we gap up, I'll probably be up like 80% on those as well with that very large position. So I keep an eye on Tesla for sure. It's probably going to be crazy strong, especially in a week like this where there really isn't a lot of news. The only thing you really need to be aware of is on Wednesday, you do have CPI that's going to be coming out. But that's pretty much the only thing that you should have on your radar. Now, SMCI is another name that is gapping up pretty big in the after hours trading right now. If you're at the 24/7 trading, whether it's on Schwab or on Robinhood, it's even higher than this right now. I do already have a position open for SMCI. So even though it is on the watch list, this is going to be more of a roll for me. And I am looking for the Fibonacci extension here to the 64.69. I wouldn't be surprised if we get a retracement there, and then it goes even higher. This could go back to $100, and it wouldn't shock me. This 51.22 level is a pretty big level where you can then get another push higher. And so I'll be keeping an eye on that. I've made a lot of money. We pretty much, after we got this, we got the news that they did file the paperwork that they aren't going to get delisted. That was pretty much the go signal, in my opinion. Now, I am still looking for downside plays on the market, and I decided to put Apple on there. I did give NVIDIA a close look, but honestly, for NVIDIA, I still think this is overall a bullish setup, and I'd really want to see it break the 128.68 before I decide that this is going to be viable for some downside plays. Because right now, this just looks like an RSI reset. It still looks like a healthy trend. It still looks like it has some gap and goes. So there's still, in my opinion, some upside left here, and I don't want to be caught with my pants down trying to short the strongest stock in the market right now. I shouldn't say the strongest, but the one of the market's favorites is, I think, the correct way to say it. So instead, I kind of want to play Apple, which was kind of middling the whole week and had this support level. If we see this break, I think it could give some downside. I think all the catalysts for Apple have kind of played out, and we've also seen some negative news come from here. We've held this trend for a good while. It's probably time for retracement. We'll see how this affects the greater market at large. I am looking for some sort of rug event. I told Discord members about that last week, that I'm looking for something. The way I've decided, I originally had some like hedging positions, and those were kind of bleeding, but I was outplaying them with playing the price action, because when you're looking for the downside, you're looking for some sort of quick catalyst, right? Downside moves tend to be really quick, right? The market does these like slow up moves, and then in a matter of like an afternoon, you can then wipe it all out, right? So I do have a tendency, this is one of my flaws as a trader, and I consistently do this, where I'm usually right in my anticipation of a downside move coming, but I'm usually too early to it. And I actually fell into that trap again, this time I at least played small, right? Sometimes I'm taking like 40%, 50%, 60% sometimes, and then I get paid. Then I end up making like 110%. That's not a fun ride. That's a roller coaster, and it really starts to mess with your emotions when you get caught in those. So I ended up closing those before we got this squeeze on Friday. I just ended up throwing the towel. I was like, this still, we had that little bit of a sell off on Thursday. I told Discord members, this isn't the rug I'm looking for at all. And I ended up playing very bullish into Friday. So what I decided to do actually is I do hold some long-term VIX calls. I think, the volatility is so cheap right here, and no one's protected. Everyone's long. The shorts keep getting squeezed over and over and over as the market goes higher and higher, and you can see that in the flows. You could see it in the gamma squeezes. You could see it from just even the short percentages. The short floats are starting to just dwindle down pretty much across the board as everyone's getting squeezed out of position in this market that's just melting up. So the way I'm going to play that is I bought these VIX calls for April, gave myself tons of time, whether, I have to wait until later for the inauguration or something to be with downside catalyst, which I think it could be, just for the market to take some breath and for volatility to pick up back up, maybe to the 15, 16, or maybe we even get to 20 if there's some sort of big catalyst, which is what I expect. This market, when it's like this, you need a catalyst to actually send it back to the downside. Okay. And it's not always going to be obvious what that will be. As a day trader, you could make the argument that if like, Josh, why don't you just wait until it happens? Well, if I front run it, that's when I make the most money. So if I can try to like guess at a certain time frame when it happens, that's when I can get the huge, like 400 or 500%. If I just chase it on the move, it's just like a normal play, and I'm gonna make like maybe 80, maybe I get like 200% off of it. But if I went the 400, 500, 600 crazy plays, I have to front run it. I have to try and predict it before the market prices it in, right? Because it prices it in like that, especially on the options. So that's the way I'm handling that. The other play that I have set up is Coinbase. Coinbase has this clear double top here. Now this is really interesting here because this really isn't solely Coinbase isn't solely what we're watching, right? Because we're looking for a big up move in Bitcoin. And when it comes to what could cause that big up move, if you saw my short video, I was talking about Microsoft has their board meeting on Tuesday where they'll do a vote on whether they should purchase some Bitcoin. And I think that this could be a big catalyst for the upside. We can already see that we're on a multi-month breakout right here, and it looks like Microsoft could go higher. If we do get a nice move over this, maybe we get over this 448 right here, and we can kind of come up to like the 456. That would be beautiful. I think the market will reward them if they decide to do that. When we're talking about Bitcoin catalysts too, we should probably also mention GME, which has earnings this week, which should be interesting. We saw that Roaring Kitty actually made a tweet about GME, and it caused a bit of a squeeze here. I didn't play GME because I was a bit slow to it, but I did catch. I made like literally like $5 off AMC or something. It was literally not notable, but did play it. And I'm looking. I'll be looking this week to see if there is some risk reward here. I just want to mention that. I'm not gonna call it like a real play. It's just a meme, obviously. But then I do decide to buy Bitcoin and maybe do the sailor strategy, which he's been kind of pitching all over the place, where people sell bonds to help fund their Bitcoin purchases and just ride Bitcoin to the moon. honestly, if Microsoft does it, it'll be bullish for Bitcoin. But honestly, in my opinion, it feels very toppy. If you've been trading for a while, there's this effect that occurs where trades get crowded. And when everyone crowds into the same play and they're all crowded into the same thing, it does moon and it does go higher, and then it usually gets rugged because markets tend to make moves that wreck as many people as possible. And so I've just been very cautious about that, about either just it trades sideways or something. I do already have Microsoft calls, and I'm kind of stepping carefully, keeping a close eye on it this week to see how it reacts to the news. I think it could moon. There's a good chance. There's a great risk reward on it. But all this news and all this hype, it feels very 2021-ish, but not the beginning. All right. That's how the years felt all year. And I feel like we're kind of near the end of it. And if you remember, like the end of 2021, it was like in December. That's when the weakness started to really appear. And then they pretty much just hard rugged it in January. And it kind of feels like that. So it's just a gut check to just kind of see, like, how would this catalyst play out? Will the market eat this up like it has eaten everything else up? Or are we going to see some major rugs here that's going to really kill a lot of these excitable traders, emotional traders? Let's call them emotional traders. I'm trying to be nice. So that's what's on my mind right now. That's what I got for the weekly report. I got a lot of other plays, charts and stuff posted in the Discord. Link down in the bio to check that out if you want. And as always, God bless.